something big is about to happen with the Trump administration as we're on the eve of a possible war with Iran. Let's get into this. The president had a Tarmac presser today, and it was something else. I'm here to tell you. Listen to this. Oh, my goodness.
Going to go in, keep the oil, but they didn't do that.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Wow. And that's like the second time, at least, he said Tulsi Gabbard is wrong. You know, that's very unusual, right? I mean, if you follow Trump in his second term, he has not been critical of people that work for him, that have been criticized and whatever by the media. Tulsi Gabbard really is the first person in his administration that he said something negative about. I mean, he could have said she was mistaken. I'll have to check into that. You know, when did she say, you know, but he said she was wrong again. Well, first time he said, I don't care what she said, she's wrong. Now he said she's wrong. She's on her way out, and a lot of people are talking about this. In fact, in the next segment, I'm going to get into some coverage from Laura Loomer that you will not want to miss. I promise you. It was what Laura Loomer has uncovered will blow your mind away. But, you know, here's the thing. We put together a coalition, right? Like that team of rivals we always hear about, you know, with Lincoln put together a team of rivals. You know, the team of rivals, which was a book that Kearns Goodwin lady put together like in the 2000s. Remember when Obama got elected, he says, team of rivals, that's going to be me. You know, and Lincoln brought in, a mixed bag in his cabinet. He brought in both Republicans and Democrats. He was a Republican, but he brought in Democrats with the Republicans on his staff and in his cabinet. And for the most part, not 100%, but for the most part, those Democrats were gone by the end of his first year. And, you know, when you're in an election, you make a coalition sometimes. You have to bring in different people. You know, you want to have that big tent to win elections. You know, you've got to win the election and get in office to get anything done. And sometimes you put together a coalition like President Trump has done, and some of it doesn't seem to be working out. And Tulsi Gabbard seems to be the one that's not working out. I don't know. We'll find out. I've always been suspect of her because when she was a Democrat in Congress, Tulsi Gabbard was incredibly radical. I talked about this a lot. She was for the legalization of drugs, and I don't mean just marijuana. She was for the legalization of all drugs. She supported the Green New Deal. She supported a lot of the Obama policies and everything else. And I was very critical of her. And you know, remember, she ran as a Democrat for president in 2020. She went in there and she did a big favor for the Bidens. If it was not for Kamala Harris being destroyed in the second Democrat debate by Tulsi Gabbard, that primary might have turned out differently back in 2019, 2020 for the Democrats. If you remember, the Democrats, their first presidential debate, Kamala Harris cleaned Joe Biden's clock. Now, it's not hard to clean the clock of a senile old coot who's got some type of age-related dementia, but she really destroyed him in that first debate, the Democrats. If you've never seen that debate or you've forgotten, go back and watch it after you're done watching this, okay? Don't do it now. And it was bad. And she jumped up in the polls. She became the front runner for about 5 minutes. They had the second debate. Tulsi Gabbard came in on that debate, and that was a total setup. She wasn't even really running for president. So she started running, and to qualify for the debates, you have to raise a certain amount of money, whatever the dollar amount is. Well, the Biden's wing of the Democrat Party made sure that Tulsi raised enough and qualified for the debate, and she came in, Tulsi, in that second debate, and humiliated Kamala Harris like you wouldn't believe. And you want to go back and watch that one. It was brutal with a lot of truths. So that was a big favor that Tulsi did for the Bidens to save him after that first Democrat debate. So I've always been suspect of her. But I said, you know, when Trump brought her into the mix and she was campaigning, and he brought her into now made her a member of his staff, I said, you know, President Trump's going to bring people in that you may not like and I may not like. But once Trump gives his seal of approval and brings them in the mix, that's all right with me. I'll lay off, okay? But she seems to be on the out now. Just like Vivek Ramaswamy. I've never trusted Vivek Ramaswamy, but then Trump brought him in. I said, okay. But he didn't last too long, did he, with Trump? So Tulsi wouldn't be the first person we lost, although she's a senior person. Not in the cabinet, but she's a senior person, kind of like a cabinet level national security advisor. Is a pretty big deal, but she's not secretary of something. But Vivek was out, Elon's gone, and Tulsi may be next. Now, Vivek and Elon had different types of jobs than she has, but she is definitely on her way to being fired by President Trump. There is no doubt about it. You can tell. And when I get into the next segment, you will not want to miss what's going on with Laura Loomer and Tulsi Gabbard. But this press conference that the president had on the Tarmac, I love these Tarmac press conferences. He dropped a lot. Let's get back to it. By the way, my name's Brian Craig. Make sure you follow and subscribe, guys, all right? Okay, so let me pull this up. This is the same. I'm going to play a couple clips, actually, from it. Here we go. Listen to this. Oh, this is the one with Tulsi. Let me play the one with Tulsi again. Why not, huh?
Going to go in, keep the oil, but they didn't do that.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Yeah, she's wrong. Yeah, absolutely. Now, listen to this. This is got a few more clips here from the president. This is a very important Tarmac press conference today.
And said, if the U.S. is serious about negotiations, that you would call up Israel and request that they stop their airstrikes. Will you make that request?
Well, I think it's very hard to make that request right now. If somebody's winning, it's a little bit harder to do than if somebody's losing. But we're ready, willing, and able, and we've been speaking to Iran, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Israel should back off. Iran's developing nuclear weapons, and it's up to Israel to show restraint. Come on, no, it's not going to happen. Let me see. Let me pull this one up here. This is same press conference, obviously, on the Tarmac. Looks like the president's wearing a brand new "Make America Great Again" hat too.
If there is an attack on U.S. assets, will you promise to conduct a full investigation and make it transparent with the American people before blaming Iran for such an attack?
Well, if there's an attack, we'll know almost immediately with modern equipment who made the attack, and those people will be very, very unhappy.
Prime Minister,
I want to get you people out of danger. You're in danger standing with me.
Okay, now, hear what he said? I want to get you out of danger. You're in danger standing with me.
We had a big victory.
Okay, now here he is talking about L.A. We're going to get back to that in a second.
We had a big victory last night in the Court of Appeals with respect to Los Angeles, but really the country, where Gavin Newsom, who's really an incompetent governor, he's just doing a terrible job between his fires, between all the houses burning down, his forest fires, and now Los Angeles. If we didn't go to Los Angeles, and the sheriff admitted it, he had no control. He would have lost control. We saved Los Angeles by having the military go in. And the second night was much better. The third night was nothing much. And the fourth night, nobody bothered even coming. We put out that fire, and we did a great job of it. He sued us for going in and for helping him. We went and helped him. Right now, you'd have Los Angeles burning to the ground. Largely, it would have already been destroyed.
Yeah, that's right. Trump did save L.A. Now, there was another clip I wanted to play. Hold on, let me pull it up. And let's see, where am I? Okay, here, let me pull this clip up. But you heard what the president said there at the end. I want to get you to safety. It is dangerous for you to be here with me. He made a big deal about that. Did you notice that? He made a very big deal about that. And, you know, what's he talking about there? Let me pull it up where he got a little better. Here it is. Here's the better audio of that. And I think you know exactly what he means. He's talking about Iran. He is being targeted by Iran. Listen to this. This same Tarmac. Listen.
That Iran or its proxies would wage terror attacks against American targets abroad if you order military action.
We're always concerned about that, and we have to take them out and be very strong. You're even in danger talking to me right now. Do you know that? You are in danger talking to me right now. so I should probably get out of here. But you guys are actually in danger. Can you believe it? One more, Mr. President.
I don't think they heard that even. They're back to their prepared statements, and what the president's talking about here is pretty scary. He's saying that he is a target, and who would be targeting him at that level with him on a tarmac? He's got military around him. He's got Secret Service. Why would he be in danger? Who would be able to be a threat to him under such protection? Iran. That's how bad things are right now. Okay? I've never heard a president of the United States speak that way. I've not ever heard that. And that's such big news. And the media don't even cover it. Why are we in danger, Mr. President? Who is threatening you and us? We're on U.S. soil. Why are we in danger in New Jersey? What could happen to us in New Jersey, Mr. President? What's going on that makes us... what's going... None of them asked. Maybe they don't hear, or they're just stupid. I don't know. Maybe they can't hear with the plane engines. But I thought that was the biggest takeaway from that whole press conference. Next, that and the Tulsi comment. But that was very... Have you ever heard a president say something like that before? Never. Now, this is for those of you out there who continually want to defend these illegals against deportations. This is, of course, the great Kristi Noem. By the way, that food poisoning, was that food poisoning she had the other day? Why was she rushed to the hospital? We haven't got a lot of details on that.
Every day I get handed a list of the people that we've arrested in this country that are here illegally, that are criminals. And these are some of the worst of the worst. Here we have a Guatemalan we picked up today. Aggravated assault against a police officer. This one, rape of a victim under age of 17 years old. This one robbed a disabled senior citizen.
Unreal.
This individual, 12 different sex offenses against children.
Wow.
If you look at it, it's 2 counts of statutory rape of a child, 2 counts of indecent assault and battery. These guys are off the street today because of the work of our ICE enforcement officers, law enforcement across the country. Thank you for making America safe again, and thank you, President Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, so those of you out there that are against the deportations, you want to rethink that with that little issue went down. I have never heard a president be under threat like that before, at least not openly. It's got to be Iran he's talking about, isn't it? Now, the Democrats have put this bizarre ad out. I just saw this a little bit ago. It's all over X. It's an ad against deportations. Watch this.
I had a really good time today.
Yeah, me too. I really look.
What are you doing?
She's coming with us.
What are you talking about? Who
See, it's ICE coming in with masks, of course, looking like ninjas.
doing?
She's coming with us.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're rounding up illegals.
She was born here. She's a citizen.
I don't care.
I am surprised that this Republican actor doesn't look like President Trump.
Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're rounding up illegals.
She was born here. She's a citizen.
I don't care. She looks like one of them. But don't worry. When she's in prison in El Salvador, she'll have lots of company.
Oh, my goodness. What a bunch of sickos. Okay, so they've got this quote, "The homegrowns are next, Donald Trump, April 14th, 2025. And I know, isn't that despicable? The Democrats, they never stop making you just disgusted by them. They're just lowlives. That quote, I pulled it up here. This is from ABC News. This is this homegrown comment that they're putting out in a bizarre context to, well, try to get some false narrative going. That's what Democrats do. It was made at the White House when the president of El Salvador was stopping by, and that was an epic press conference, wasn't it? Listen.
More migrants were sent to that prison in El Salvador. Trump said he likes it, even for U.S. citizens, suggesting Americans could be next.
I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but you'll have to be looking at the laws on that.
He not deporting any U.S. citizens. I don't know what the law is. We'll have to look at the law about that. I'd like to do it. There's lots of things people would like to do. It doesn't mean they're actually going to do it. Oh my goodness. The Democrats, they're just lowlives, and that ad's pretty disgusting. But I got to tell you this. If Tulsi Gabbard is out, don't worry. It'll be fine, okay? It'll be fine. People come and go in every administration. I don't care who's in this administration by the time the term's over. I voted for Donald Trump, okay? I didn't vote for Tulsi. I didn't even vote for Pete Hegseth, okay? Who even would have imagined? Pete Hegseth's great. But when a cabinet member leaves or a senior official like Tulsi Gabbard, the media are going to make a big deal about it. But this is what happens in every presidential administration. I'm not worried about it at all. I mean, look at the first bud. Elon is out. It was a big story for 2 days, right? Vivek Ramaswamy was the biggest thing in the country everyone was talking about. He left and no one even noticed. I know he's running for governor of Ohio now, but and if that goes well, we'll be hearing more from him. But big deal. Vivek gone, Elon gone. If Tulsi goes, who cares? Is it really a big deal if Tulsi Gabbard leaves? I don't think so. Now, they'll make a big deal about it. Now, in the next segment, you will not want to miss the next segment. Laura Loomer has uncovered some huge stuff that I'm going to break with you right here. Well, Laura Loomer discovered it, so she did the breaking. But I'm going to break the story I'm going to break Laura Loomer breaking the story. When we get back, you won't want to miss the next segment. I promise you. This is huge stuff, courtesy of Laura Loomer. I'm Brian. We're going to take a quick break and be right back. If you're a Medicare recipient or about to turn 65, listen up. I want to talk to you about Medicare. Medicare, it's confusing. That's done on purpose, right? You go online, what do you find? More confusion. A lot of people, they try to go it alone or they deal with someone who doesn't really know what they're talking about, and what happens? It ends up costing them thousands of dollars sometimes each year. And also, they find out maybe their doctors or the medications, they might not be covered either. That's where Chapter comes in. Chapter is the only national Medicare advisor that compares all of the over 24,000 plans out there for you. They'll find the one that's right for you and your budget. And no matter where you are in the United States, Chapter can help. You're going to get answers, you're going to get them fast, and you're going to get them for free. So whether you're on Medicare right now or turning 65 soon, give Chapter a call. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. The number's also in the description of the episode. You're going to talk to a real person. They're going to walk you through everything step by step. No gimmicks, just real help. Because the right plan, it can save you thousands. Again, the number 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. Get your Medicare questions answered free. 805-754-3033. Your health and your wallet will thank you. I'm sitting here in the studio with one of my pillows. Well, actually, this my pillow is my wife's my pillow. Okay, this is the one my wife slept on last night, and we were taking the sheets and everything off the bed to do laundry. And we wash the MyPillows because, the MyPillows are completely washable and dryable. And this one actually is my wife's favorite of the MyPillows. This is the premium MyPillow, which is covered with Giza cotton, that 100% Giza cotton, which is it's an upscale MyPillow, and it has the piping around the side. And the width of the piping actually tells you how much fill there is inside. And this one is firm. And the patented fill that Mike Lindell invented is absolutely amazing. And what that patented fill does is it stops your head and neck from turning at night. Once you're in position and you go to sleep, you stay in that position. With other pillows, you toss and turn at night. Every time you do that, even when you don't remember it, you wake up out of REM sleep. And with the MyPillow's patented fill, your head and neck fit in that pillow perfectly, and you're not tossing and turning. That's why I get 4 or 5 hours sleep a night, usually 4, but if I'm lucky, 5, and I'm so well rested and ready to go every morning for a very long day because those 4 or 5 hours of sleep I get are well-rested sleep. And if you get the sleep you should get, the 7 or 8 hours, oh man, you're going to be lighting the world up on fire. And if you think you've gotten a good night's sleep, you've not had a true good night's sleep until you've slept with a MyPillow. Now, the MyPillow, the premium pillow with the Giza cotton that I'm holding in my arms right now, the queen size is just $19.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout, and the regular price on that is $69.98. So it's a huge discount. You can also get it in the king size, which is $24.98. That's usually $79.98. So great deals with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Don't forget to use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And, of course, you can use our promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout on all the specials at MyPillow.com. But I love these MyPillows. I have all the MyPillow products you hear me talk about. The premium MyPillow that's made with the Giza cotton on the outside. This will change your life. Order yours today. Promo code Kane, Kane, at MyPillow.com. Laura Loomer has been breaking some huge stories. And you know about Laura Loomer? She has a 100% accuracy rate in all of her reporting over the years. Go back. She is always right. And most of the time, she's not just ahead of the rest of the media. Loomer is sometimes a year ahead, all right? She was the first one to report that Ron DeSantis was fake MAGA and was going to portray President Trump. And there's many other examples that are even bigger stories than that. And now she's getting involved in, well, what's being called this MAGA civil war, but is it a MAGA civil war if some of these people aren't really MAGA? And she's uncovered a few things about Tucker, Carlson, Tulsi Gabbard, and others. And I want to go through some of this because this is some big stuff. And there's been a lot going on this week with Tucker, who has been opposing President Trump on his Iran policy, which, you know, he hasn't even really openly said President Trump what he's going to do with Iran. But Tucker has been taking some very strange positions. He did call President Trump and apologize this week, but I don't know if you can trust that or not. But I want to go through some of the things that Loomer's reporting about both Tucker and Tulsi Gabbard. Let's start with Tucker. This is something. Now, this story I'm going to read to you is from Mediaite, which is very left-wing, all right? So some of the phrasing and terms and names they use are from these liberal jerks, okay? They're not mine. So, but I still want to share this with you, okay? This is in Mediaite, very liberal. Trump ally and longtime MAGA. Now, this is a huge story, okay? This is a very huge story. Trump ally and longtime MAGA conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer. Now, you know, this thing about conspiracies, just because something's a conspiracy doesn't mean it's not true, right? Conspiracy doesn't mean a fairy tale. Trump ally and longtime MAGA conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer launched a scathing attack on Tucker Carlson this week, publicly accusing him of being controlled by Muslims. Now, Loomer doesn't just throw things out. She's got some evidence here, which we're going to get to, all right? And therefore, staunchly opposing Israel's ongoing conflict with Iran. Loomer's attacks on Carlson are just the latest fracture in the MAGA base over the Israel-Iran conflict. Loomer joined Fox News host Mark Levin in accusing Carlson, whom Levin has nicknamed Carlson. I like that. That's a takeoff Qatar. And you know what? I'm wondering, Carlson, doesn't that sound like a Trump nickname? Do you think Mark Levin came up with Carlson? I don't know. That sounds like something Trump would say. Whom Levin has nicknamed Carlson of being in the pocket of Qatar, a key ally to both the U.S. and Iran in the region. Loomer's accusation stems from a mid-May report in the Washington Examiner that dove into Qatar's lobbying efforts in the United States, including the targeting of pro-MAGA influencers in order to get close to the incoming Trump administration. The Washington Examiner's reporter reported on Qatar's big dollar efforts in May, writing, perhaps Qatar's biggest victory in its post-election right-wing media campaign thus far was securing an interview between Tucker Carlson and the Prime Minister of Qatar, who's got a very long name, in March. The interview, which has racked up nearly 6 million views across X and YouTube, was friendly, with Carlson praising the country. And this is what the report said. Qatar paid, listen to this. Qatar paid top dollar to ensure this interview took place. Foreign Agents Registration Act records show that Lumen 8 Advisors LLC, a legal consulting company for which very little public information is available, helped facilitate between Carlson and the Qatari dignitary. The Embassy of the State of Qatar pays Lumen 8 Advisors $180,000 per month to provide media and communication coaching and consulting services. Loomer took that report a step further, claiming, and again, Loomer doesn't just claim stuff, okay? She has sources. She has very good sources, and everybody knows she's tight with the president, okay? So, she's got a lot of top sources. So she doesn't just make stuff up like a lot of people do out there, okay? So if Loomer says something, you can assume that the president knows about it and probably agrees with it too. Loomer took that report a step further, claiming that Carlson's interview with the prime minister was a paid propaganda piece in which over $200,000 was paid by the Embassy of the State of Qatar for Tucker to interview a Qatari official, all while knowing Hamas is an Iranian proxy and funded by Qatar. Loomer went on to attach a screenshot of the Foreign Agents Registration Act documents that Lumen 8 Advisors filed regarding the interview, which she claimed was proof that Tucker Carlson was paid for the interview. So it's an infomercial. Now again, Mediaite writes here, to be clear, documents do not appear to prove Carlson was directly paid for the interview, only the intermediary, this Lumen company. Lumen, is that kind of like, it's like on that Apple show, right? Tucker. Now, Loomer went on to say this. Tucker Carlson wants you to think his thoughts on Iran are based and original, but he's literally participating in paid-for interviews by the Qataris who are funding and providing penthouses and luxury lifestyles to the leaders of Hamas. Tucker should just be honest that he's a mouthpiece for genocidal Muslims, Loomer added. Loomer went on to attack a key investor in Carlson's new media company. She says his media company was literally funded by a Muslim investor who is half Pakistani and half Iranian and who spends a lot of time in Qatar. And trust me when I say a lot of people in pro-Trump circles are very uncomfortable with this, Laura Loomer wrote about the partner. And she goes on to say, this is Laura Loomer, Tucker is controlled by Muslims. People need to wake up and stop pretending like this is a conspiracy theory. Qatar and Iran are buying off conservative podcasters to push pro-Islamic, anti-American, and anti-Israel talking points to undermine President Trump, Loomer added. This is huge stuff, people. I mean, and I'll tell you, part of this is back in the old days, before we had the internet and the new media, there's more. We've only just begun. Before we had all this new media, what these countries and like this would do is they would do this to reporters at the New York Times, Washington Post, CBS News, or something like that. But those old guard legacy media outlets are so irrelevant now, they're now going after podcasters and online new media influencers. That's where all this is coming from. This is really a shocking. Are you guys shocked at this? This is insane. Oh, my goodness. And they go into some things that Loomer's done recently, but that is some hardcore stuff. Now, I want to play a clip of Loomer's show here because there's a lot of talk going on right now about Tulsi Gabbard, and is she on the outs with Trump? Is she, Now, she did come out of Situation Room meetings, this week. But there's been a lot of reporting that she's out with Trump. I don't know. We really don't know because, things like that, we got to wait till the president shares them with us. But Loomer, on her show this week, shared something pretty interesting. Listen.
Trump is not asking anybody to go to war. Oh, I don't want to go to war for Israel. I don't want to fight the wars for all these Jews. I don't want to die for Israel. Yeah, asshole, you're not fighting a war for Israel, okay? You're not fighting a war for Jews, and Donald Trump isn't going to send you to the Middle East to go fight in a war, okay? Donald Trump has always been anti-war. It's just an intellectually lazy excuse to bash Jews and to bash Israel and to bash the United States and to bash Trump. Because let's be honest, these people don't like Trump. They're trying to sow discord so that they can say, we voted for Trump and we can't have a pro-Trump GOP and a post-Trump America after Trump leaves office in 3.5 years. And so we need to have new leadership. And the only people who really stayed true to the anti-war message were Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard. And that's why they're leaving and they're going back to the Democrat Party and they're going to run against J.D. Vance.
Okay, now listen to this.
Because J.D. Vance was vice president and J.D. Vance played a role in going to war with Iran. Mark my word, bookmark this episode, clip this tweet and save it on your phone. I guarantee you that Tulsi Gabbard is going to run for president against J.D. Vance in 2028. And what is she going to do? She's going to try to use this conflict as a way to say, oh, well, I always said that Iran was never building a nuclear weapon. I always was against striking Iran. I was always against it. I was always against striking the Ayatollah. I was always against taking out their nuclear facilities. I even made a video talking about how anti-nuclear war I am.
Wow. I mean, this is really, it's really getting there. And if anyone else said these things, I wouldn't think too much about it. I would think about it. I was like, okay, let's keep our eye on Tulsi. Let's keep our eye on Tucker. But when Loomer says it, especially as close as she is with President Trump, you can take everything she says to the bank. Okay, this means that President Trump himself, certainly people in his circle, think that Tulsi may run against JD. And she's a registered independent, so what would she run as? Would she go back to the Democrat Party as a Democrat? Would she run as an independent? That'd be a losing race. Or would she run as a Republican and cause a divide among the Republican primary voters? And is Loomer suggesting that Bobby Kennedy would be her running mate? I don't know exactly about that, but these are very credible things. You know, this MAGA civil war that's going on, I've talked about this a lot. There's a lot of fake MAGA out there, guys. We have to be careful of this. We talk about this because, you know, if you are making your way in conservative circles, whether you're a politician or you're in the media, and you want to have a conservative audience, if you come out of the closet as a never Trumper, a Bush Republican, a neocon, a Weekly Standard Republican, you're not going to make it. Okay, so there are a lot of fake MAGA out there. There's a lot of fake MAGA, undercover never Trumpers telling you that they support Trump and they don't. And, you know, this has been a common theme here on this program for a while that I've been talking about. These Bush Republican neocons, what they're telling themselves is when Trump's term is over, they're going to be a leaderless movement, and we are going to retake the Republican Party, and they're going to make a big move to do it. And part of that is what's been going on this week with Tucker. Okay, I know we called the president to apologize, but these things that Loomer's sharing are shocking, and I promise you, the president is aware of all of this and more because he's on the inside. Pretty scary stuff. Let me know in the comments on whatever platform you're listening to the program on what you think about that. Now, I want to tell you, my name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. Thanks for tuning in. The Brian Craig Show podcast is available on all podcast platforms. Whatever the podcast platform you listen to for your podcast, we are there. Just search for the Brian Craig Show podcast. I also upload the show in video form to YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, you can catch the video version where you'll see me. And, of course, also you'll be able to see the videos I play, and I show the articles that I go through and everything else. And that's on YouTube, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. I also am on YouTube Music in the podcast form, and that is a video as well. But if you follow me on YouTube or YouTube Music, you get the video version, and the audio version of the podcast is on all podcast platforms. Just search for the Brian Craig Show podcast. All right, so now let's get into this crazy stuff going on. Now, President Trump said the other day in a tweet, listen to this. This was on Truth Social. He's talking about crooked Fox News, and he goes through this, and he says, It's why MAGA hates Fox News, even though their anchors are great. And, that's an interesting thing the president is saying there, because it's true. There's some of the people on Fox you like, some of the ones I like, but we don't like Fox News. We don't trust Fox News. And Fox News, it's not necessarily the fault of the anchors. I mean, a lot of them make a lot of money. I mean, Dana Perino makes like $50 million a year. I mean, how is Dana Perino worth $50 million a year? How is she worth 10% of that? I have no idea. I guess I'm grossly underpaid. But Bannon went off on Fox News. Listen to Steve Bannon. This is today. Oh, hold on, let me rewind it here. I didn't have it quite queued up. All right, here we go. Here's Bannon.
What did Lincoln say? If you have public opinion on your side, if you have the public's support, you can do anything in this country. But to get the public support, you got to be straight with the public. We were dealt from the bottom of the deck in Iraq. And I might note, Kayleigh McEnany, if you learned your history.
Wow.
Iraq today is, 50% Jack controlled by Persia. For the simple reason is that the buffoons over at Fox that dangerously promoted into the Iraq war, right, had not thought it through.
Okay, so what he's talking about here, and this is being talked about a lot by other people other than Tucker, and that is, other than Bannon, and that is that Fox News is an infomercial for the military-industrial complex. And then he went on, Bannon, listen.
That is dangerous, and that is on Fox all day long. I'm absolutely serious. Why do you not think that they're representing a foreign government? Hannity, Levin, the whole crowd. There should be an investigation. Has there been intelligence? Are the guys taking ads? See the AIPAC ads all the time over there.
Wow. I mean, that's something. So Bannon thinks that there's a situation going on Fox News as a whole, similar to what Loomer was saying about Tucker getting this Qatar money possibly. When these people are at such a high level, whether it's Fox or Tucker out on his own, they get tempted. They get tempted with boatloads of money. And I'm talking about serious boatloads of money. And people get bought off. If you go through, I was talking about Perino making $50 million a year. These news anchors and television people are so overpaid. Brett Baer has a house that cost many millions of dollars, like 30-some million dollars is his house in Palm Beach. What does Brett Baer do that is worthy of a salary where he can afford a house that cost over $30 million? And that's not his only home. That's his Palm Beach, weekend winter place, right? The reason they overpay them so much is because they have influence and reach and they can control them. And these people, in many instances, have made deals with the devil, okay? And you got to wonder how many other things are reported in the form of news that are paid infomercials. A lot of it. My name's Brian Craig. We'll take a quick break and be right back. I was telling Steve Kane this morning that come August, it'll be 3 years since Dr. Philip Appleton rid me of pain for the first time. It was in my knee. And my knee had been hurting me since I was 20, 21 years old. So it had been 30 years of suffering. And sometimes my knee would act up. It was my right knee. It would act up so much, I just wanted to sit down and go to sleep, because the pain was so bad. And Dr. Appleton treated me. And I know it was 3 years ago because I remember a salesman from the radio station took me to meet Dr. Appleton. And I told Dr. Appleton about my knee. I got that free consultation that you can take advantage of too, the free consultation with Dr. Appleton. And he treated me with the laser treatment on my knee, which is 100% painless. There's no shots, no injections, no downtime. In fact, not only is it completely painless, you don't even feel it when it's happening. So that was on Thursday. The next day I woke up on Friday and my knee was already improving. I went for a second treatment on Saturday. First treatment Thursday, second treatment on Saturday, and then Monday, the pain was gone. And 3 years coming in August, the pain has not returned because the laser treatment doesn't just rid you of pain, it repairs the damage that's causing the pain. It's amazing. It works. And he's rid me of pain 6 times after that for a total of 7, Dr. Appleton. We have listeners that travel literally from all over the United States to see Dr. Appleton. He is incredible. The laser treatment works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. Arthritis, which, by the way, he rid me of arthritis in my hand, bursitis, work and sports injuries, strains and sprains, repetitive motion injuries, post-surgical swelling, neck and back injuries, knee conditions, tinnitus, sciatica, spinal stenosis, fibromyalgia, plantar fasciitis, which I understand is incredibly painful, rotary tears, herniated disc, acute pain, chronic pain, and any type of pain you've ever heard of. Because I keep meeting listeners all the time with new pains I never heard of, and they're now living pain-free thanks to Dr. Appleton. Give him a call. Now, remember, appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. Give him a call and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. Now, if you're in the state of Florida and you need roof repair or replacement, you want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. He's a good MAGA guy. He'll take good care of you. He'll never sell you a roof you do not need, meaning that if you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. He covers the entire state of Florida, the East Coast, the West Coast, and everywhere in between. And did you know that Tom Laporta was voted one of the best general contractors and best roofers in all of South Florida? That is absolutely amazing. He's honest, he's knowledgeable, he's reliable, and he does incredible work. I've seen his work, not just on Steve Kane's house, but many of our listeners have told me about the great work that Tom Laporta has done for every type of structure. We actually had a listener that had a church roof. They call Tom Laporta about. Now, remember, because Tom Laporta isn't just a roofer, he's also a general contractor. Florida law allows him to deal directly with your insurance company for the cost of the repair or the replacement of your roof. He can handle a job of any size, and he can also handle any type of roofing job. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. You know, after rainstorms and hurricanes, we have a lot of listeners, they call Tom Laporta. He comes right out. He takes care of it. Give him a call. Now, this number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, okay? 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. You can either call or text him. That's his direct cell phone number. Or go to his website, LaportaRoofing.com. We're back. I'm Brian Craig. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure that you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you are listening on. Now, you know, we talk about the fake news and their agenda and everything. This is a textbook example of it. Have you seen this story? Utah college student detained by ICE after a brief traffic stop, being released on bond. A Utah college student. What's ICE doing? Stopping Utah college students and rounding them up. Well, she may be a college student in Utah, but she's also in the country illegally. All right, let's go through this. And I know she's not your, normal MS-13 looking illegal, but she is an illegal in the country nevertheless. And by the way, how's an undocumented illegal a college student? My goodness, I remember when I went to college, I had to come up with all kinds of information, all kinds of documents. And then I changed schools, and I had to even get more documents, right? I had to get transcripts and everything and some other documents. How does someone who's illegal and undocumented even get into college? And, of course, they're flooding the media with pictures of her because, she's young, she's pretty, and she got a little cute dog there and everything else. But she's still in the country illegally, okay? This is NBC News. Then we'll get into a little more detail about it. A college student, again, NBC News. I know it's left wing, but, A college student who was detained by immigration authorities following a brief traffic stop earlier this month was granted bond on Wednesday. Okay, now she was stopped in a regular traffic stop, just a regular traffic stop, which the police officer did something that I've never seen done before in a traffic stop. I'm going to show you the video of the traffic stop shortly. Her name is Caroline Diaz Concalves. She's a 19-year-old student at the University of Utah. She was driving on Interstate 70. in Colorado on June 5th when a Mesa County Sheriff's deputy pulled her over because she was driving too close to a semi. The deputy released her with a warning, no ticket, but shortly after she exited the highway, Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents stopped her, arrested her, and took her to an immigration detention center. This is, again, NBC News I'm reading from. Her detention raised questions over how ICE became aware of her location and immigration status so quickly after the traffic stop in Colorado, which has state laws restricting coordination between local law enforcement and federal immigration authorities. Now, I don't know how local law trumps federal law, but these liberals seem to think that it does. An administrative investigation from the sheriff's office revealed the deputies who stopped Diaz-Goncalves was part of a communications group that included local, state, and federal law enforcement partners participating in a multi-agency drug interdiction effort focusing on the highways throughout western Colorado. Federal authorities began using the information collected in that communications group for immigration enforcement purposes, said the local sheriff's office. By the way, this deputy in this traffic stop has been put on leave. Unfortunately, it resulted in the contact between ICE and Ms. Diaz-Goncalves. The nature of the stop raises concerns whether the Mesa County Sheriff's Office violated state law or whether the deputy's communication through the task force inadvertently notified ICE agents of her legal status. It is difficult to determine the intention of the deputy or ICE using this information. I think they're using the Signal Chat app, by the way. The Sheriff's Office said it was unaware that the communications group was used for anything other than drug interdiction. Her lawyer told NBC News that she has no criminal record and she's was not shown a warrant at the time of her ICE arrest, but she is in the country illegally. She had a bond hearing 2 weeks after she was first placed in ICE custody. She was ordered released on bond. That was earlier this week. Born in Brazil and raised in Utah since she was 7, she's one of the 2.5 million dreamers in the United States, okay? So she is one of the dreamers. She's been here since she was 7, but she is still indeed in the country illegally. Now, this is the traffic stop, and by the way, this is how it's supposed to work, okay? Even if this sheriff's deputy turned her into ICE, that's the right thing to do. She's in the country illegally. It's up to ICE to pick people up like that, do an investigation, find out what's going on here, and then make a decision on how they get processed. And I personally cannot imagine that this police officer did anything wrong if he even alerted them of her, okay? I don't know if he knew her legal status. I'm going to play you the body cam footage, and he does ask her where she's from. I don't know if she has an accent or something, and he asked where she was from. And maybe he alerted ICE on purpose because he was suspicious of her. But isn't that what law enforcement's supposed to do, the police? Right? You have someone who's a criminal. You're in the country illegally. You're a criminal. And by the way, not only is she a criminal, how is she legally able to take up a seat in a college that gets federal funding as well as state taxpayer funding? And how is she paying for her college? Does she have financial aid? Is she taking someone else's financial aid that's in the country legally or a U.S. citizen? There's a lot of questions here, and this whole idea that because her parents brought her here illegally when she was 7 and she's entitled to be here, I don't buy that. What do you guys think? Okay, now, this is the police body cam footage, and the officer did one thing that I have never seen done before, and maybe it's common, but I've been stopped in traffic stops many times throughout my life. First time when I was 17, and I've never had a police officer do with me what this officer did, this deputy did with this girl, but maybe it's normal. But I'm still on the side of the cop. I can't believe the cop's been relieved of duty. He's likely to get fired because he's turning criminals in. All right, here we go. Here's the body cam footage.
You are way too close to that semi. Oh. He even had to brake check you to get you off a little bit. How about just a warning?
Okay, now this part here is the part that I've never seen. Then I'll show the whole thing. He has her in the passenger seat of his police cruiser. That's a little strange to me. Have any of you ever been in the passenger side of a police cruiser on a minor traffic stop? I've never seen anything like that before. I don't know. Anyway, let's play the whole thing.
You are way too close to that semi. Oh. He even had to brake check you to get you off a little bit. How about just a warning? That work for you?
I'm so sorry. I just don't want to be so kind of.
Where are you from? You got a little bit of an accent.
Here.
You're from Utah? Okay. How long you lived in Utah for?
Like 12 years.
Born and raised or no?
No, I was born in, oh my gosh, I always forget. I was born in Brazil.
See, she was reluctant to tell him because she knows she's in the country illegally. And she didn't want to tell him she was born in Brazil. She said she forgot, and then she said it.
I just don't want to be so kind of.
Where are you from? You got a little bit of an accent.
I'm from Utah.
You're from Utah? Okay. How long you lived in Utah for?
Like 12 years.
Born and raised or no?
No, I was born in, oh my gosh, I always forget. I was born in Brazil.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then my parents moved.
And then, like I said, this is just a warning. So once you get where you're going, you can just throw it away. There's no court, there's no fine, there's no nothing. Let's take it easy on the semis, okay? That semi,
I'm sorry.
couldn't even see you, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Alright, you're good to go. You have safe travels, okay?
You too.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of the day.
You too, thanks.
Okay, and then a short time later, according to the reports, I stopped her, and I think the cop turned her in. He asked her where she was from. She had an accent. He was suspicious, and she said she was born in Brazil, and he told ICE. They stopped her. So that's that. I mean, she's in the country. Did the cop do anything wrong other than that weird thing of bringing her in the passenger side of the car, especially when he's alone? I know he's got the body camera on, but I don't think that's a smart move. I know somebody will leave me a comment underneath the episode, say, oh, there's traffic. I've been stopped by police, not for a while, but I've been stopped at traffic stops a few times. And I've never had them ask me to get into the car. And when I was stopped, I was on the road too, okay? Different types of roads, and some smaller, some busy. I've never had that happen before. That just doesn't seem like a wise decision. But regardless, I'd say it's probably true that the cop turned her into ICE on purpose through this signal app. And that's the right thing to do, isn't it? You know, now she's out. She'll have a lot of sympathy. They're trying to make a call celeb. You know, what the Democrats are doing, and of course, this country is being occupied by illegals. I mean, here's a girl here who's illegal. Her parents are illegal if they're still here. And the born and raised American police officer, he's about to be out of a job. He's been relieved of duty during all of this. I mean, what's that about? You know, I don't get that at all. And I'll tell you something. The cop will probably be fired because it's liberal Colorado, and she will probably be allowed to stay in the country. They're not going to send her to El Salvador, but because she was 7 when she came here. But should she? Did the cop do anything wrong? I don't think he did anything wrong. What he did was completely above board. And you see these pictures they have of her. They fled the media with this, like this. You know, they got all these pictures of her. Oh, I lost the picture because I didn't pull it up. But you saw the picture real quick if you're watching on YouTube. Because she's young and pretty, they're able to make her into a Rosa Parks figure in their mind. Here's another story. University of Utah student picked up by ICE and Mesa County granted bond. Yeah, ICE, the bad guys. You know, her taking someone's seat in college, her taking someone's financial aid in college if she has financial aid, that's not a problem. She's not doing anything wrong. It's the Americans, right? Now, if you'd like to support the program, become a Patreon supporter. If you're a Patreon supporter, you have access to commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode. And since I have upgraded the podcast to have a video version of the Brian Craig Show podcast, the audio version is still on all the podcast platforms, guys. But on YouTube and YouTube Music, I upload the video version. And Patreon supporters, not only do you have access exclusively as a Patreon supporter to commercial-free editions of the Brian Craig Show podcast, you get a commercial-free video version of it, completely commercial-free if you're a Patreon supporter. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode on whatever platform you're listening to us on. And if you're one of our top Patreon supporters, you get a live on-air shout-out on each episode. Your name is in the description of the podcast episodes, and on YouTube and YouTube Music, your name as a top Patreon supporter appears on the screen while I go through the names like I'm about to do. So the following names are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, David, Laura, Rob, and SFjr. These are our top Patreon supporters. If you want your name on the screen and in the description, or you want to get those commercial-free editions of the podcast, go into the description of this episode. On whatever platform you're on, go to my Patreon page and become a Patreon supporter. Now, this story here, this blew my mind. I had not heard about this until this morning, and this is from April. And I saw this guy that I'm going to talk about right now. His name is Tyler Fisher. He's a comedian who's been banned from Fox News. And Jordan Peterson interviewed him, and he told his story, and it just was insane. I'm in shock at this happening at Fox. He was a regular comedian on Gutfeld. Remember the other day Trump said, MAGA hates Fox, but we like some of their personalities. I like Gutfeld. But what happened here, I wouldn't, well, let's read the story. Jordan Peterson did an interesting interview with him. And this story I pulled this up, was in the Hollywood Reporter, April 18th. Here's the headline. Gutfeld regular Tyler Fisher says he's banned from Fox News after it's gone full woke. And listen to this. Comedian Tyler Fisher, I'm reading from the Hollywood Reporter. Comedian Tyler Fisher, a fairly regular guest on the popular Fox News Channel late-night series Gutfeld, hosted by comedian Greg Gutfeld, says he's been banned from the platform after asking an employee out for coffee. Now, he's not even an employee at Fox. He's just a regular guest, right? Fisher says the conservative-leaning Fox News, which has been front and center fighting so-called wokeness in America, has itself gone full woke. He says he posted this on X. After almost 2 years, I will no longer be on Gutfeld, Fisher tweeted. Sadly, they've gone full woke and kicked me off for a reason that is beyond hard to believe. What was my woke crime? I asked an employee out for coffee. Fisher says he has proof and is seeking legal counsel for defamation, calling his ban absolutely insane. A source with knowledge of the situation told the Hollywood Reporter that in the exchange, Fisher grabbed the female employee's cell phone, put his number in her contact list, and then demanded to know if she got the number. It wasn't a friendly thing, the source said. Fisher responded to the claims in a statement to the Hollywood Reporter that reads this. This was a mutual and very friendly interaction. I guess he asked, well, let me put my number in your phone, I guess. When asked if she would like to go out for coffee, she said yes. At that point, phone numbers were consensually exchanged. Absolutely nothing aggressive or forceful happened from me or her. A spokesman for Fox declined to comment. While there's no official word that Fisher has been banned, he's not appeared on any Fox News Channel show since January. He was on 16 episodes of Gutfeld. I'd not heard this story. Maybe you have. Jordan Peterson did a very good interview with him. And if this story is true, and he seemed very believable and credible when I saw him interviewed, it's completely insane, especially with the history of Jesse Waters. I'm not going to go into all of the Jesse Waters stuff because I've talked about it a lot in the past. You can look it up about his former mistress that is now his second wife. You can go look that up. I mean, he just asked a girl for coffee. I don't know how guys do it these days. When I was single, there really was no internet. The first time I used the internet, I remember it well. The first time I actually used the internet was when I first met my wife and we were still dating, and she had the internet at her house. And she actually had the MSN.com internet. Do you guys remember that? The MSN? They had different internet. You didn't have like the internet. There wasn't just like the internet. You had to have different things. Like you might have AOL, you might have Netscape, and then MSN Microsoft had their own internet. And websites were only available on MSN or only available on AOL or only available on Netscape or whatever it was. But I remember the first time I used the internet because she had it. Dial-up, of course. But I don't know what guys are doing now because, if you now he was a guest. He wasn't like a regular employee, so it's a little different. But most people meet through work, don't they? Isn't that how most people meet? Who they go out with, people they work with, they ask them out. You do it now, and all of a sudden you're like Harvey Weinstein. You ask somebody to go out for coffee. I never heard such a thing. Now, the NAACP are disgusting. They're not inviting President Trump to their convention. Oh, boy. They're not inviting Trump to their national convention, and they've been inviting presidents for 116 years. Listen to this. NPR, National Public Radio. The NAACP announced it will not invite President Trump to its national convention in July, breaking from its 116-year tradition of welcoming the sitting U.S. president to the annual event. The group says Trump is the first president it has declined to invite. The president and CEO, Derek Johnson, made the announcement Monday at a news conference in Charlotte, North Carolina, where the convention is scheduled to be held. And he says this: Donald Trump is attacking our democracy and our civil rights. I'm going to tell you what this is really about. It's not about what's in this statement, okay? This is the statement from them, okay? Donald Trump is attacking our democracy and our civil rights. The president has signed unconstitutional executive orders to oppress voters and undo federal civil rights protections. Johnson said he continually undermines every pillar of our democracy to make himself more powerful and to personally benefit from the U.S. government, blah, 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 all BS. Okay. Why do you think, I'm going to tell you why I think the NAACP did this. But before I do, let me ask you, just think to yourself, why did the NAACP, for the first time in 116 years, not invite the sitting president of the United States? And keep in mind, there have been some pretty racist presidents out there like Lyndon Johnson, FDR, Truman. President Truman was actually in the Klan. That's how he got involved in local politics. Why do you think they invited all those guys? Why do you think they didn't invite Trump? It's so simple. It's so simple. It's a fundraising gimmick. The NAACP, what are they fighting for today, right? The NAACP is a historic civil rights organization that back in the day was advocating for some really good things. And by the way, all the original NAACP founders were all Republicans, okay? It was founded by Republicans to fight against Democrat Party oppression. But mission accomplished, right? African Americans have complete 100% equality today. That's it. I mean, so they have nothing to fight for anymore. And, the guy, he's not just the president, he's the CEO, chief economic officer. It's about money. So when you're leading an organization that has won the civil rights war, they've got nothing left to fight for. They're fading away to becoming irrelevant. I promise you, their fundraising and all their other sources of income have dried up over the years, because what really, in 2025, what is the purpose of the NAACP? It serves no purpose. And I'm here to tell you, I said this when Obama was reelected. If you were to write a history book, a true history of the civil rights movement in America, okay, it would end when Barack Obama took the oath of office to become president of the United States for the second time. Okay, remember he's 2 terms. Barack Obama, right, when he became president, the United States is the only major country to elect a black leader. Okay, major country, first world country, major country, okay? Because I know there's other countries, but like South Africa is not a major country, and they're third world in South Africa. But the first time you could say, okay, it was a fluke, he got lucky. But when Barack Obama got reelected and sworn into office, that wasn't luck. It happened. That is the official end on the historical timeline to the civil rights history for African Americans, right? That's it. They've got nothing left to stand up for. So when was that? January 2012? So what have they had to do for the last 13 years? What are they fighting for? We've had a black president elected and reelected. We had a biracial vice president, right? Right now, the second lady is of Indian American descent, okay? You know, and the list goes on. They have nothing left to fight for. So they're doing something that's just god-awful. They're accusing the great Donald Trump of being a racist. He's anything but that. And I guess they're trying to get in on the illegal alien undocumented racket that's going on. But that's all that's about. You know, I know a lot of people are rightly upset about it. They're irrelevant, the NAACP. You know, they can't admit that the war has been won and they serve no purpose today. They really should disband and dissolve the whole organization. Let me know what you think in the comments. My name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll talk to you next time.